Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie wrapped up a two-day campaign tour across his district. And economists are seeing a troubling trend, Americans falling behind in saving for the future.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this September 26th. It's 6:01 this morning and it's feeling a little cooler in the mornings. Isn't that right, Megan?
Yeah, it's definitely feeling a little bit cooler, but we're still pretty warm for this time of year. So I'm not looking forward to what we should be seeing this time of year, but here's what we're looking at today. As we're going out the door, low to mid 60s, about what we've seen this week, not much of a change. And as we head into the afternoon, about what we've seen this week, not too much of a change, upper 70s and low 80s. Now, what is a big change this morning is very dense fog, dense and patchy fog, especially in those valleys. So please drive carefully, have those low beams on if you're encountering any low visibility this morning. And in terms of rain, we're relatively clear, just looking at a little patch of rain in Perry County, but overall nice and clear. Amelia.
State police are looking for a man in connection with an armed robbery. If you look at your screen, you can see a picture of Isaiah Campbell. Troopers say he's a person of interest as they're seeking him for questioning. He's about 5 feet 8 inches tall and about 160 pounds. He's also wanted on an outstanding arrest warrant. If you've got any information, you're asked to contact the Hazard State Police Post at 606-435-6069. This morning, a major escalation in President Donald Trump's efforts to target and seek retribution against his political opponents. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted on 2 federal counts days after the president publicly urged his attorney general to pursue charges. Last night, Comey proclaimed his innocence in a social media post. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
James Comey, once the nation's highest-ranking law enforcement official, now under criminal indictment.
I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
The former FBI director is set to be arraigned in a Virginia federal courtroom in 2 weeks. Thursday, a grand jury indicted Comey on 2 charges: obstruction of a congressional proceeding and making a false statement, both connected to Comey's testimony before a Senate committee in 2020, during which he denied authorizing the leak of information to the press 4 years earlier.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump.
Last night on Instagram, Comey called out President Trump, who fired him in 2017. The indictment comes less than a week after the president publicly urged Attorney General Pam Bondi to pursue cases against Comey and other political rivals. Last Friday, he says he fired the previous U.S. attorney in Virginia who wouldn't pursue charges. He was replaced by White House aide Lindsey Halligan, who did file the charges. Last night, President Trump claimed victory on social media, posting "Justice in America."
I can only say that Comey's a bad person. He's a sick person. I think he's a sick guy, actually. He did terrible things at the FBI.
Top congressional Democrats are slamming the indictment as an attack on the rule of law and a dangerous abuse of power. Jared Hill, CBS News.
According to court documents, the grand jury rejected an additional count of lying to Congress. The federal judge assigned to the case is a Biden appointee. Well, the president signed an executive order yesterday allowing TikTok to continue operating in the U.S. under a new business structure. The president says Chinese President Xi gave the go-ahead to proceed with the deal. The White House says the new deal will create a joint venture based in the United States with U.S. investors and owners and a majority of Americans on the board of directors. Governor Andy Beshear announced new changes coming to juvenile justice facilities here in Kentucky. The governor signed 2 emergency regulations yesterday. One addresses isolation policies in youth detention centers. This new regulation would require leadership approval before a youth is put in isolation. It also orders staff to be trained on this policy and make sure isolation is not excessively used and is used safely.
We've also created opportunities for youth to have goals and to work towards something. Through a partnership with the Kentucky Department of Education and the Department of Career and Technical Education, juveniles can now participate in vocational programs programs for future employment.
He's also ordered every DJJ facility to have a mental health treatment director. Governor Beshear says when he first took office, the juvenile justice system had not really changed in more than 20 years. Governor Beshear announced 3 build-ready sites at Spida Commerce Park in Pulaski County. These are being built to attract new businesses to the area. Pulaski County Judge Executive Marshall Todd says having the build-ready sites is a game changer for the county and sends a message to businesses that the county is serious about growth. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie wrapped up a 2-day campaign tour across his district. It was a chance to measure his support after breaking with President Donald Trump on some key issues. There have been months of attack ads calling for his defeat and a stirring of presidential social media insults. But Massie seems unaffected, even amused by all this negative attention.
I support the president in everything except him deciding that he doesn't like Thomas Massie. I think that's a big mistake on his part.
The president's frustrations with Massie are not likely to end anytime soon. Massie now says he has enough signatures to force a vote in the House on releasing the Epstein files. A fight over the future of THC-infused drinks and food products has Senator Mitch McConnell at odds with Kentucky hemp farmers. 58 farmers signed a letter to McConnell warning the senator not to criminalize their harvest. Jim Higdon co-founded Cornbread Hemp, selling THC gummies and seltzer in compliance with the 0.3 limit. But Senator McConnell now accuses companies like Cornbread Hemp of trying to make a quick buck by taking legal amounts of THC from hemp and turning it into intoxicating substances.
McConnell did a 180 on his own legislation and is seeking to make all THC from hemp illegal, which would eliminate all of our products from legitimate commerce.
A spokesperson for McConnell says the senator is talking with interested parties. Senator Rand Paul says he supports hemp farmers on this issue. Economists are seeing a troubling trend: Americans falling behind in saving for the future. A new survey from Bankrate finds 3 out of 5 American workers say they're not where they should be with their retirement savings. Of that group, 21% fell slightly behind, while 37% fell significantly behind. Compared to their retirement contributions last year, 36% say they're about the same this year, but nearly a quarter say they're not contributing at all and didn't last year either. Bankrate says that's a call to action.
So what to do? First of all, for the youngest workers out there, by all means, begin to save, if you haven't already, to take advantage of a 401k match that your employer provides through a 401k employer-sponsored plan. Use those tax advantage accounts. Uncle Sam essentially has set these up to help you save before taxes.
One way to get organized is to use simple retirement calculators that you can find online, which will help you get a more concrete idea about how much that you need to save.
We're still watching a little bit of some sprinkles as you're heading out the door. Here's a look at satellite and radar over the past 3 hours. And as I pause it to show you where that is right now, it's really just centered over portions of Perry County, and a little bit is in Knott County. Now we'll watch that as it continues to dissipate over the next couple minutes to an hour. But in terms of temperatures, what you need to know as you're heading out the door, well, we're looking at a mixture of the 60s, some folks a little bit warmer than others, upper 60s, some folks a little bit cooler than others, seeing 59 degrees in Wise. Now this afternoon we'll continue to see temperatures warming up, upper 70s and low 80s are in the forecast. But hey, if you're heading off to the game of the week, that is the Harlan County Black Bears against the South Laurel Cardinals. We'll see temperatures in the low 70s at kickoff, and by the time we end the game, we're looking mostly cloudy with temperatures in the upper 60s. Amelia.
Well, thanks so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 6:10. A year ago yesterday, tow truck operator Troy Caldwell was hit and killed by a semi-truck while on the job.